and watching what's going on here on the platform. But I'd just like to welcome you all here, and thank you to so many of you who have been journeying with us over the last couple of weeks in our In Conversation sessions. The objective of Entrepreneurship to the Point is to inform, equip, and inspire entrepreneurs to be the best versions of themselves so that they can really impart into their businesses and grow sustainable businesses. Over this period of lockdown and in the time of COVID-19, we have really seen the power of the platform, even more so in making sure that we are delivering content and information that entrepreneurs need. But also, I think in this In Conversation series session is just taking a moment to talk to the actual entrepreneurs, to hear what their stories are, what the challenges are. And most refreshingly, I think we have noticed some of what the positives have been and the innovations that have come out of this time. So welcome here today. Please do follow us on our social media platforms. You can catch us on Twitter at E2ThePoint, or you can also follow us on YouTube, Entrepreneurship to the Point on YouTube. Please go to our website in order to subscribe to our newsletter. That way you'll be able to get notifications of all of the sessions that we have. But also when you land on our website, you'll see that there's a button that says Entrepreneurship to the Point webinars. If you click on there, you'll be able to scroll through some of the previous webinars that we have had and catch up if you've missed anything. And we will also be updating the most recent webinars as we go along. So please go to entrepreneurshiptothepoint.co.za and E2ThePoint on Twitter. So today we are in conversation with two dynamic young men, Mr. Joseph Mwadira and Mr. Moagi Minwe. When they come on, they might correct me on the pronunciation of their surnames. But these two gentlemen are Cape Town based, and they run an organization called Ole Bogeng, and they are quantity surveyors. They're also involved in the construction and cost consulting industry. So they are part of the Property Point Enterprise Development Program, and they're under the care of Mr. Hannes Steyn, who is also on the webinar today. Hannes, I'm going to introduce you before I hand over to you. He is a senior program manager at Property Point, and he is the, how can I describe Mr. Steyn, the chief social worker at our organization. And by that, I just mean he's really just has such a talent and a passion for people. He's able to unearth and unlock the talents and the gifts that a lot of people have. And I think that's why he's been so successful with so many of our entrepreneurs. So Mr. Hannes Steyn is going to be interviewing the two entrepreneurs for us today. And I'll be jumping in and out perhaps to make an announcement or two, but I'll also come in at the end just to close off the session for us. So Mr. Steyn, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you, Tebogo. Dear Tebogo, thank you for that introduction. You know, I'm actually feeling a bit uncomfortable with all that accolades throwing at me, but thank you, and what a privilege this afternoon to meet with Ole Bogeng and the two, as you have mentioned, two dynamic young guys, young business owners. And to have a chat around their journey, their business journey, and even just a bit of a background around themselves, because we need to hear the stories of the businesses. You know, there's always a very unique story behind every business, and that is, and listening and hearing what they're all about and what business is all about, their entrepreneurial journey is so encouraging, and you know, and it helps a lot of other businesses not to just to give up, but just to continue, because not that we are actually all in the same boat, but we're on this incredible journey of entrepreneurship. And again, it's a privilege to meet with Joseph and Moagi this afternoon, just to discuss their journey in business and even before. So good afternoon, gentlemen. Moagi, how are you doing?
Doing well, Hannes. And your end, how is everybody doing?
Yeah, we're doing We're doing well. We are sitting here in Johannesburg, and it's cold. I see you guys there. Some of the guys has got short sleeves on there in Cape Town. It must be Joseph, a great day there in Cape Town.
It's a beautiful day, Hannes. I think if you come down to Cape Town, you won't want to go back to Joburg. Beautiful day.
Seemingly.
Yeah, thank you. We had some good times there.
Other parts are quite chilly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So yeah, let's just start off with this in conversation session this afternoon, and thank you again. And it is a unique story. And let's just starting with you, Joseph. Before the business journey, what was your background? You're growing up. Where were you at school? Just a bit about yourself, and then Moagi, I'll give you a turn as well.
Oof, where to begin? I feel so old now. It feels like such a long time ago. Look, Hannes, I went to primary school. No, I went to high school, a place called St. Ignatius College. And eventually I managed to get an opportunity to get into UCT. So I studied at the University in Cape Town here. And after that, I never left, and I started looking for employment opportunities here. And along that journey, I met with Moagi. I think maybe we'll discuss that a bit later on. I met my wife here. I basically made Cape Town my life now. So that's me, in short.
I just want to add, Joseph, you're not that old. You're early in your early 20s. That's.
I think the lack of hair would say something else.
Moagi, what's your background? Where did it all start for you in your early school days?
Mine is pretty simple. I mean, I made it through the back door. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm from the Northwest, a small town they call Mafeking. So I went to a high school there called Bizana. It's actually a technical school. So I was well prepped for technical courses, right from middle school to high school until I actually saw that, look, I'm actually interested into technical subjects. So I did technical subject back in high school. I've learned this from back in middle school, which is in basic course it was called bricklaying. So, but I wanted to take a different stream, which is extraction metallurgy, of which I actually was I was pursuing during high school. But then later on, I was like, you know, my name, my meaning, it's actually a builder, a bower. So.
A bower.
Yeah, so so I mean, they saying what in my language, Romo, meaning, you know, the name that you are born with, you need to actually try to stick to that, because that's basically who you are. So I went back to pursuing construction and building science in the previous Cape Tech before it was matched with the Cape. What was that?
Peninsula University of Technology.
Yes. Look, I'm growing, my man. It looks like you know your story. So yeah. So that's how I came to Cape Town. I've been here for quite a while though, since 2003. So you can say really I'm a Cape Townian. So that's my little story until that's far, Hannes.
Okay, Moagi. So let's just jump into the Ole Bogeng journey. So where did it all start? Your relationship with Joseph, and just those early days. You know, how did it start? How did the relationship come about? And how did Ole Bogeng started off those days?
Yeah. So I kickstart my journey into the working industry at actually I've worked, just to think of it, I've actually worked for only 2 firms before I embarked on this journey, the Ole Bogeng journey. So the last company that I worked on went through, I don't know if you guys remember the 2009 meltdown. That was the recession that happened in 2009. So the performance really just went downstream with the company in the following year, 2010. Although remember, we were going through the World Cup, hosting the World Cup and so on. But, many people other than construction industry, could actually, went through the difficult, rock bottom, so to say. It was only us, but other industries, what I noticed that they kind of like quickly picked up from where they left off from the meltdown. But with us construction, really, it was difficult. And then the company that I was working for, say, beginning of 2011, things were not really going well. And then they kind of showed, signs that we're gonna, downstream. So back then, I had I had three bosses, my supervisors or directors, so to say. So one of the directors there decided to say, look, you're still quite a young fellow. You promising, emerging professional. So what are you gonna do after this? So really, that's when I thought, look, that's quite something, because we have different plans, But my plan has always been to embark on my own, start my own small firm, if things, turn out right, and then we can take it from there. So I did register the company in 2011 with my previous, one of the senior employers at that previous company. But then I think I spent almost close to a year or so. But then he went, and he was quite an old man, he's a white fella. So I took it more like, empowerment, to so that, by the time now I pursue my own thing to be, stable, at least he should be certain that, he has done his job. Then in the following year, correct me if I'm wrong, Joseph, 2012, 2013, there's a chap by the name of Tabang, quite good guy, that I went to varsity with. He actually went between two varsities. So he actually did his first year in UCT, then went to Cape Tech, then went back again to UCT. So he's a mutual friend between myself and Joseph. So he knew what I was pursuing, but it's not always easy for one to run everything, irrespective of how big or small the company is. You always need somebody, to sort of form a team, a dream team. Yeah. So he introduced myself to Joseph, where initially, a quick munch. I still remember it was the Food Lovers back in 2012, 2013. So Joseph kind of gave me an ear, because I actually told Taban that I needed someone, who's as enthusiastic and, who's driven as much as I am. So I took Joseph for a couple of months, and the guy came back to me. I was like, look, my man, the company is still as small as it is, but, here's the plan. I already actually came up with the company name with the previous guy. So then the name actually I came about. It's my late younger brothers who passed back in 2005. So his name is Ole Bogeng. So I sort of just played with this name, just separate the two names to say Ole then Bogeng. But it's funny because many people tend to think this is French until they see the face and say, is this African? You're like, my man, we are Africans, So many people, tend to kind of get it incorrectly to pronounce, but I just leave them to say, yeah, we're French, until they put the face to everything. Yeah. So it's Ole Bogeng, it's the name after my late brother. Yeah. So yeah, the rest is history. Here I am with Joseph. We've been working. I always say we both, in a car you get a body of the car and you get the engine. But I always say the team that we've built between myself and Joseph, we are both the driver, the body of the car, and as well as the engine. Yeah.
That's good, Moachi. Yeah, it's all about, in most cases, it's good to work as a team. There's a team dynamic that just takes a business to a next level, and even, and when owners such as in your case can complement one another, the business can just go to a next level because it's two is better than one in most cases. So well done on that. I just so Joseph, since so you've started Ole Bogeng, you guys are in business now. Up to how's it been going since you've started? What was the landscape? What kind of achievements or things that you have achieved? Where do you find yourselves in business just before this terrible challenge that we find ourselves in? Where's Ole Bogeng in the space of small business in not just in Cape Town, but also they've got a national footprint also in Johannesburg and beyond. Where do you find yourself, Joseph, Ole Bogeng?
Thanks, Hannes. That's a broad question. We've really come far from when we started. I think, like Marky saying, 2012 we started, I think, marketing fully as a team, trying to get clients on board. And at that time, we were really small. We were looking for office space, and we were never sure that past 12 months, would you still have enough income to be able to sustain that office space. But as he said, if you're driven, if you've got a goal, and you've got a passion for what you do, you have to make it work. So along the way, we marketed ourselves, we knocked on many doors. And we're still knocking on doors, but we knocked on many doors. We also leveraged relationships that we had from our previous employers because we were very influential. Can I say, yeah, we were very influential in the teams that we used to participate in the previous employment. So we leverage those relationships moving forward. And look, many people were reluctant to bring us on board initially, obviously, because you don't have a track record, you don't have a strong balance sheet. But as you progress, some people gave us an opportunity, and then we just started to grow. So year on year, things just started working out, and we got clients on board. The teams grew, we started employing more people, and that's been the journey thus far. Along the way, we've also seen that in order to grow, you get to a stage where you're growing, but you need to sustain yourself. So we found that, okay, in sustaining yourself, you need to diversify your clientele, and that's easier said than done in the construction landscape in South Africa. Especially in the national footprint, people have their connections from when they were young or when they were at varsity, and they prefer to work with those people. And like you guys keep reiterating at Property Point, people do business with people they like. So it's difficult to get into a space where people are already doing business with people that they like. But we push, we knock on those doors, and eventually when they give us an opportunity, we show that we are likable. And then they start to do business with us. And up to today, that's us. We have now grown. Along the way, we have opened offices outside of the head office footprint in Cape Town to try to grow and showcase what we can do. So we have a satellite office in Joburg, and we have done projects in other towns. We've done projects in the Northern Cape, some projects in the Northwest. So we go where the work takes us. We have some other projects in the pipeline in the Eastern Cape. We obviously have to follow on that when things stabilize in this post-COVID era.
Yeah.
But that I can say is Ole Bogeng at the present moment. Yeah.
Yeah, look, guys, so what I've seen is relationships are obviously very important, because that's what business is all about. It's relationship, and then the step further is to leverage on those relationships in opening doors and partnerships, etc. And then also that you're mentioning and keep on pushing. you know, you cannot sit on your laurels in business. You have to keep on pushing, even if you don't, you know, if you don't feel like it. It's not an emotional thing. It's pretty much making that decision to go out there and to push, as you would say. You know, meeting new people, networking, leveraging on your relational ecosystem, you know, and working on that. So well done on that. So just one or two, Moagi, just quickly, what is one of the business lessons that you've learned as Moagi and an owner of the business? Maybe just two business lessons, just in a quick minute or two.
Yeah, look, I suppose maybe the one part that I'm going to have to touch, or probably maybe more embrace it, is that, you know, touch on what Joseph mentioned earlier, that had we knew before then that we needed to actually build or create new relationship that will obviously be looked into the future, was that we needed to start that back in varsity. You know,
Yeah.
so that's my number one lesson, to say, look, you want to create relationship that will go on for many years, you know, and seeing that developing through, be it post varsity, right through starting going up that ladder, you know, is you need to create relationship while you still in varsity, you know, and keep that network, you know, active as much as possible. I mean, look, I mean, I didn't know him, but we met through our mutual friend who was from varsity. But really, if we didn't do much of that back in varsity, right? We tried doing that after our encounter with Property Point, to say, look, you know, go back to those old people there. We tried that, it didn't work, because really, I mean, you won't know somebody in varsity, but you keep that distance. But later on in life, now you want to go and knock and start to revive that, something that was never there before. So, but really, I always say, look, even if you didn't create such a relationship, you know, I always say, if you go and knock on new potential, you know, employers or clients, is that if you get in there and you've got a zero, you know, relationship, you know, or trust or whatsoever, you need to build on that. You know, you need to, you know, I mean, we've learned a lot from Property Point. I mean, it goes from body language to how you present yourself, you know, to a simple thing like, you know, never refuse, you know, a client if they offer you water when you came to meet with them. I mean, those are the smallest things that, you know, we tend to take advantage of, but that's where relationships are created. I mean, that's where actually a client will get to create something that he would say, I think I like these guys. So I think the reason why we still around, myself and Jovi, is that we've put ourselves in a position where we are able to create relationship, you know, it gets to be the likable guys, and then sustain on that, you know. I think yeah, that's my number one lesson, is to create relationship. You'll never know. I mean, and never really look down on any clients, you know. I mean, we have clients as small as new beginner potential developer here in Kailicha, who's never done anything, but because he's in a position where he could acquire land and we could assist with developments, you know, get an idea, you know. I mean, we've been in this game for quite a long time. I mean, if we see a piece of land, we're able to come up with a quick desktop feasibility, viability report and say, you can put up this. And we can channel them nicely to say, you need to go there, don't go there, you know. So that's where, I mean, such work is being done really on pro bono. We're not expecting anything. And, you know, we actually will be using our resources to make that. So other than creating clients, one could actually do what? You identify your own work and you create your own client from somebody who never actually saw any potential.
Look, Moagi, it's all about, and I agree with you, it's all about building a connection, building
Yeah.
that relationship, and taking it to the next level where you can actually be in partnership and achieve.
Yeah.
And that's very important, guys. I just want to, so this COVID-19, or let's focus on the lockdown. Now,
Yeah.
how has it influenced Ole Bogeng? Because you're not an essential service. Now, just explain to me, when lockdown came, what was your initial plans and thinking and action around lockdown? Where do you find yourself currently?
Okay, so lockdown, I think, came like a bolt out of the blue, to quote Christopher Visse. And that kind of thing. Yeah, it was a bolt out of the blue. And initially, obviously, like everybody, we thought it's just going to be 3 weeks and that's it. But from the onset, we engaged our clients. And I think, just to add on to Mark's inputs about business, what you've learned, communication is another critical tool. Whether it's pre-COVID or post-COVID, communication is very essential. If you don't communicate, your client assumes things, you assume things, everybody's left in the cold, things don't move forward. So the first thing, obviously, that we did was we communicated with clients, got to understand their positions. In the first part of the lockdown, clients were obviously going to continue. When the lockdown was extended, we had to go and re-engage with clients. What is their plan? How do they proceed? How do they perceive what's going on? Has their position changed on certain projects or future outlook? So obviously, some of them came back and they don't have a definitive answer to that, as is to be expected, because we really don't know what's going to happen. But from the client side of things, we communicated. From the office side of things, we obviously had to go virtual. Luckily for us, some of the programs we use in the QS industry, you can use them online. Most of our deliverables, you can submit them via email, and we have all those basics. We have a server, we communicate, we've got a group that we communicate with everybody in the office with. So we basically went virtual. So that's allowed us to continue to communicate with our colleagues there at the office. So we've now got our virtual office running. Then obviously the other part is the discussion between me and Mark is how are we going to survive this thing?
That's right.
Because the one thing I learned about business now is that cash flow is king. And this thing came out of the blue, and what I can say, luckily, from our previous interactions, we have tried to manage cash flow wisely. We're not, I think, Hannes, you've seen, we're not big spenders or anything. So we are pro cash flow management. So that's assisted us in trying to ride out the storm. And then we entered the discussions of what else can we do to help the business. So we looked into the information that's out there, information from government, information that Property Point has sent out, and obviously we engaged with our accountants, and we did some applications to assist us to add on to that little cash flow that we have to try to sustain the business. So that's how we've managed the COVID situation at the moment. Moving forward, it's really an unknown. As much as you've communicated with clients and they've communicated their position, it could change if things get worse. It could get better if things get better. So yeah, and we've positioned our business with some of our clients well. So some of them have come to us and asked us to assist. So we are actually playing a little part in the essential services game at the moment. As those relationships have allowed these clients to see that we can assist them. So there are some projects that we are handling for some clients in this level 4 lockdown at the moment.
Yeah, Joseph, thank you so much. I think just in closing, and well done and what you've done.
Can I just interrupt you before you close? Sorry. It's hard because we can't see each other. But I just want to, before we close, just bring in a quick question. I think Joseph and Moagi both spoke a lot about relationships and how important those are. So we do have some questions that came through from the chat section, and as well as asking how the guys managed to effectively manage their relationships remotely during the lockdown period. Maybe Moagi can take this one for us. But I think, if I could add on that, the relationships with your staff and your the members of your team, but of course also those relationships where you used to be able to have a coffee or a beer with someone to keep it hot. How are you managing to do that now that human interaction is not possible?
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, Joseph touched on what he presumably said. Look, cash cash flow is king. But what I've noticed, and I've been trying to engage, with our guys, our team, is that this thing is more mind intriguing than any other thing. It's mind challenging. So I think, we're not around. If you get to the office in the morning, you are able to tell if an employee or whoever had a bad night or what they are going through. You are able to maybe gather with somebody quickly in the boardroom, ask the person, "Are you okay? What is happening?"
Yeah.
So. But then in this instance, we're remotely working from homes. We don't know really, how other people would have taken this. Myself really as well. I've went through quite a bit of a tricky situation where I was thinking, really, is this going? We've been in this for what now? Close to 2 months now.
Yeah.
Not to say that I went through a bit of stress or whatever, depression, but you really need to set your mind. So many information is coming left, right, and center. Nobody knows really what is happening. Is this thing really happening? There's so many challenges. And then our mindset really are built differently. So we try by all means to not only do we talk about the cash flow, apply through all the channels of UIF tests, etc. But we try by all means to engage with our team as well on personal level. One of the employees had to give her a break to actually escape, to go home because we just employed her not so long ago, so she has nobody around here. So we had to. We said, look, you can go to other province. We don't know how you're gonna do that, but. If it's something that really you need so that you can rejuvenate and come back feeling better, you need to do that. She came back now. She wakes me up very early in the morning now. You can see that and tell that now she's ready to rock.
So it's really,
yeah.
It's about understanding those, I guess, looking at everybody individually and understanding those specific things that you have to do. All right, Mr. Steyn, back to you.
No, great stuff. Listen, guys, so well done, and in sharing your journey, and then in this short space of time, there's some people that's making comments and saying well done in your journey, and we just from our side all of the best. You've got a plan. You're working with a plan to lockdown. So thank you so much for your participation. Go well. Keep up the relationship. Have empathy for your people. And take it to the next level. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tebogo.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Nice, short and sweet in conversation session. Thank you, Martin. He's Martin Masilela. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's sending you a lot of love. And just thanking you for sharing your story. So thank you to everybody who's watching. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to you who will watch this in a few days or in a few hours on YouTube. We see you, and thank you for engaging with our content. We hope that it's valuable to you. We hope that it is inspiring, informing, and equipping you to be the entrepreneur that you have always wanted to be. Please join us again tomorrow for another In Conversation series. We will share those details and information with you on our social media platforms and via our email communication. And if you go onto our website, as we said in the beginning, you will be able to see the webinars that are coming up. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. What day is it today? Is it Monday?
Don't know anymore.
I don't know, but it feels pretty Monday-ish. So all the best with the rest of your week, guys. We hope that it is productive, and we will see you tomorrow. We have some other information sessions as well that are set up for this week, and we'll be sure to communicate those with you in due time. www.ettp.co.za. That's where you can make sure that you keep up with our information. That's all from me, Tebogo, and we'll see you again tomorrow.